War and destruction. I've talked about this a lot on the channel before. It seems to me that World War One may be the most literarily rich war that ever there was. And it was a, a war that they thought at the time really changed things. And the literary presence in that war was no shortage of was a very prevalent reason for why they thought that it changed things until a couple decades later, and we had some actually really powerful weapons. And who wants to have really powerful weapons without the ability to, test them out? So that is not exactly why World War II was fought, but I do think that it contributed to it. What we have today, however, is a World War One poem that does say some things that are not great about war. Surprise! Welcome to Strip Cover Lit, where literature lives. I am Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, in the poetry discussion playlist, now over 1,000 videos strong. The poem in question today, The Silent One by Ivor Gurney. Ivor Gurney. Not a name that I have pronounced many times in my life, so forgive me. It reads as such. Who died on the wires and hung there, one of two, who for his hours of life had chattered through infinite lovely chatter of Buck's accent, yet faced unbroken wires, stepped over, and went, a noble fool, faithful to his stripes, and ended. But I, weak, hungry, and willing only for the chance of line, to break in the line, lay down under unbroken wires, and saw the flashes, and kept unshaken till the politest voice, a finicking accent, said, "Do you think you might crawl through there? There's a hole." Darkness shot at, I smiled, as politely replied, "I'm afraid not, sir." There was no hole, no way to be seen, nothing but chance of death after tearing of clothes. Kept flat and watched the darkness, hearing bullets whizzing, and thought of music, and swore deep heart's oaths, polite to God, and retreated, and came on again, retreated a second time, faced the screen. So what we have here is the story of a person. I'm not sure exactly how to read it. There is most of the, all I think of the criticism I've seen of this poem says that our speaker is basically pinned down by fire. So being fired upon, pop, 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 you can't advance. I don't know that I see that necessarily completely in this poem. The way that it's written is almost as if our speaker is going through shell shock, paralysis by analysis, fear, extreme levels of fear, whatever it is. It seems almost to me as if the speaker is simply choosing. I'm not doing that, boss. So there's a couple of interesting details early in the poem that tell us a lot, I think, about the intentions of the poem. That person, that soldier who is hung in the barbed wire and has been killed by the Germans, has a Bucks accent, a Buckinghamshire accent. I am not an expert on all 1,284 British accents. I believe what that is talking about is like well-to-do, upper middle class, standardized British accent. Not posh. Neither is it the sort of the dirty British accents. I don't know how to explain them. But as I understand it, this is like a standardized, you were probably well educated, upper middle class, and doing all right in life type of accent. Didn't matter. He's dead now, right? He is strung up in barbed wire. Seems he was a lovely type of fella. Gone. Gone, 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 gone. And so you have to imagine this is how he is described really. That's how we know him from his accent. But he's dead. So this title, The Silent One, is that title about him? A lot of the criticism you're going to see is that's exactly what's going on here. I think there's something a little bit deeper going on here. Does this, the Silent One, represent him who no longer has that Bucks accent? Yes, I think it does. But not exclusively. So what we have with the rest of this poem is we do have our speaker speaking. I'm afraid not, sir. He is asked politely, in the most British sort of poem perhaps ever, "Pardon me, there's a hole in the line. Maybe we should go get shot." "I'm afraid not, sir." Right? That's what we have going on here. This is proposed to be an officer, till the politest voice, a finicking accent, said, "Do you think you might crawl through there? There's a hole." I think that's a possible reading of that line. Maybe that's an officer. Maybe this is our speaker's subconscious telling him, you're supposed to be a soldier. You're not supposed to be lying in the muck, afraid. You're not supposed to be shell-shocked in the mud, immobile. You're supposed to be up charging like that fella with the Bucks accent. You're supposed to be the one who is defending the honor of England. English soil, if I should die in that field, there shall be a corner of England. That is supposed to be what it is that you think in these times, in the face of this danger. But seeing him hung there on the wires has done something to our speaker, because it didn't matter. That fella could have been Achilles. Once that machine gun starts, your abilities as a warrior are done. Once that barbed wire, once that gas starts, it doesn't matter how well you can fight. Do you have to breathe? That gas has something to say about it. Oh, you think you're wearing a helmet? That's cute, but this machine gun doesn't care. All of these things take away any ability for a fighter, a war fighter, a warrior, to really affect the things going on around him. And so it is no wonder that our speaker here is paralyzed by what's going on, and swore deep heart's oaths, polite to God, but retreated anyway. I think that this is a little bit of evidence that our speaker is not pinned down by fire. I think it's a little bit of evidence that our speaker is not replying to an officer. I think it's evidence that our speaker is simply mortified, and that voice talking to him saying, "Go, go, go," is his subconscious, and he's replying, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And in this way, our speaker kept flat and watched, hearing bullets. He's just laying there. Our speaker's just laying there. the same way that that young fellow with the Bucks accent is hung there. In their own ways, they're both dead. In their own ways, they are both gone, done for. They are both the silent one. Our speaker, unable to move. The fellow with the Bucks accent is actually strung up on barbed wire and shot through. So I think that this is a poem where the subject mirrors the speaker and is meant to do so that they are both the silent one. They are both, in their own ways, dead. That is what I have for this poetry discussion. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this with other literature lovers. And as always, I hope to have you back for the next one.